How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I'm going to show you the tips and tricks that I use to reduce the data usage on your cell phone plan. Why should you reduce your data usage? Is because it's cheaper. You can then get a lower price plan and pay less every single month. Now, if you really think about it, the core information that you get from data, the actual data bits itself, it's very, very minimal. For example, text uses very, very little in terms of data. A voice data call uses very little. If you're getting certain emails that has critical information, that also costs you very, very little data. What costs the most data is generally picture files, video files, and generally if you surf the web or something on your phone, then it's gonna suck down a lot of data. The problem I have with consuming a lot of data is because most of the time, you're actually not really consuming that particular data at all. It could be data that just kind of loads in the background. You never see it. It just kind of buffers. And so you're paying for something even though you do not actually use it. So if you restrict yourself to only paying for data that you actually use, the data that comes through that you actually see, that you actually handle, and not data that just kind of swings by and you never see again. For example, if an app gets updated, okay, and you never even use that app until it gets updated again, it means that whole update file in between was actually never used. Now, the first thing that you can do is turn off automatic application updates and only update the application on Wi-Fi. If you're trying to get sub 1 gigabyte every single month like I do, try not to watch a whole bunch of YouTube videos while you're on the go. Watch it only when you're back home. Most of the time, you don't need to watch YouTube videos. When I'm hanging out with other people, most of the time, my phone is in my pocket. I talk to the person instead, rather than, bring up a cell phone while I'm eating with them and watching videos. That makes no sense. Now, I know some of you do not have Wi-Fi at home and you only solely use the data on your phone, in which case using less data on your phone might not make as much sense because maybe you have unlimited data already. Still, really low cost unlimited data is not going to keep on going on forever. So at some point, it would be a good idea to reduce the amount of data that you consume on a mobile device. On the other hand, if you have Wi-Fi at home or at work, you can, of course, try to turn on Wi-Fi all the time. Only use those exclusively when you're at those locations, which is most of the time. But when you go on to a mobile situation, when you're in a car, when you're at a restaurant, then sure, you can use your mobile data at that case. Now, I know how annoying it might be if you go to certain places and you always have to keep on asking for their Wi-Fi password. So most of the time, I don't even personally do that. I usually don't even ask for it. I just use my mobile data and I still am able to get under 1 gigabyte a month. Now, what applications are critical might differ from person to person, but generally to me, email is pretty critical if I need to check certain emails, if I'm waiting for something. If I do not have a dedicated GPS, turning maps on and using mobile data is also could be considered pretty critical. Now, Facebook and other social media applications with pictures or video consumes a lot of data. So you might want to consider not having them on all the time, only turn them on momentarily to check whenever you have a need to check for it, and then turn off data after you use it. Now, if you normally consume 5 gigabytes data, 10 gigabytes, 60 gigabytes, it might be a stretch to say, okay, you're going to move down to 1 gigabyte now. So one of the ways to reduce your data greatly is basically to turn off data to every single application. And then when you're in a mobile situation, you have something that you absolutely want to use. And then you can specifically turn on data on that particular application, and you just keep on doing this for a few days. You're gonna start to notice that there are certain applications that you always use, you absolutely need data on. You're gonna turn them on really quickly because you use those applications. But over time, you're gonna realize that you keep on turning on more and more, and then you're gonna consume more and more data. So just doing this will allow you to just kind of get a feel for how much data you actually use. Now, if you're trying to reduce the amount of data that you use, every few days, 3 days to 7 days or something, you can always go back and turn off all the data to all the applications, and then you can manually turn each one on as needed in order to gauge how much you actually use. Now, this is really just a practice run, just to figure out how much you actually use and which one are critical to you. Then you can kind of size up, well, how much data do you really need every single month? If you're trying to use lower amounts of mobile data, I hope these tips and tricks help. The point here is not to restrict the services that you actually use. You should still be able to use all the services that you want, such as maybe for me, I like using Yelp to find out restaurants that's nearby that is good. So then I would actually turn on mobile data for Yelp. So keep in mind that these tips and tricks is really to restrict the data on applications that you do not actually use. Some of your applications just sits in the background and they pull their servers and they consume a bunch of data and you don't even see that this is happening. I hope you enjoyed this video and this helps you reduce the amount of data that you use and in turn reduce the amount of monthly service that you have to pay. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give me a like, comment down below. Let me know if these tips and tricks helps you. If you're interested in supporting the channel, check out my Audible link down in the video description below where you can get a free audiobook. And if you don't like this audiobook or this service, you can cancel it before the subscription expires and you can still keep this audiobook for free and help benefit this channel. Just a reminder everyone, next week on Thursday, I will be having a gathering over at Whole Foods on Thursday. It's still going on, so I'll meet you guys there. Don't forget to push that subscribe button and ring that bell icon. Thanks for watching.